So who's Alexander Hamilton? Besides being the dude on the 10, the best-looking founding father. He was George Washington's chief of staff during the Revolutionary War, and he was our first Treasury Secretary. But before that, he was an immigrant. He was born in the Caribbean. But he came to our country and, by sheer force of will and intellect, changed our country forever.
I don't even really know if I knew who Alexander Hamilton was. I know he was on our currency.
Alexander Hamilton is one of the unsung heroes of our country.
Hamilton saw the opportunity when an immigrant could come to this country, get a little education, have some great ideas, work hard, and build something. Pretty amazing guy.
Hamilton was born on the island of Nevis. Nevis is a very beautiful and colorful volcanic island in the Caribbean. But the day-to-day reality was very brutal and violent. Like most of the Caribbean islands at that time, it was dominated by sugar and cotton plantations.
Hamilton's mother, Rachel, had just fled an unhappy marriage when she met his father, James Hamilton. But under the terms of her divorce, she wasn't able to remarry, which meant that Hamilton and his brother had to grow up with this stigma of illegitimacy, which was very real in those days. And so Hamilton goes through some really rough shit between birth and getting out of the island.
When Hamilton was 11, James Hamilton abandoned Rachel and the two sons on the island of St. Croix. Not long afterwards, Rachel contracted a lethal fever, which she then communicated to Alexander.
In the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet for just a moment. Yellow sky.
Hamilton suddenly found himself, at the age of 13, an illegitimate orphan in poverty, and so he immediately had to go to work.
He worked for a trading charter as a kid, so he's getting firsthand economic education because the people who actually own it are off on ships trading, and he's in charge of the books back home.
When I was 17, a hurricane destroyed my town. I didn't drown. I couldn't seem to die.
A hurricane destroys St. Croix. He writes a letter about the destruction he saw, and it's so beautifully written that a newspaper publishes it.
It was impressive enough and eloquent enough that people got together a charitable fund to send him to North America, to the North American colony, so he could get a real education.
And that's how he gets off the island. He literally writes his way out of his circumstances.
Alexander Hamilton, I think, is one of the more uniquely American founders because this man came from nothing and rose to the highest levels of serving this country. He proved the condition of your birth should not determine the outcome of your life.